Uh, First of all, I want to say that I really enjoyed the experience. As the old God of War fans, I find it quite interesting that it offers that fluid battle, that fluid, and so on. But I'm quite surprised that you guys decided to take out every god figure from your marketing trailer and screenshot. Any reason for that?
To take out every which figure? I'm sorry.
Gods. I mean, like you never show like Odin, Loki, or Thor and everything. You only show the monsters in the trailer and screenshot. Any take from that? Why?
Well, I think for us, we would never in a million years want to spoil story, right? And you know, it's no secret that there are Norse gods that exist in our universe, in our telling of the game. But we want the player to discover that for themselves. So we're not going to be showing who the gods are. We're not going to show them in screenshots. We're not going to tell you because there's something, like I don't know about you, but when I see a movie trailer and it spoils the ending for me or it shows you all the best scenes, you feel kind of cheated out of that, you know? And we talk about this concept a lot. And one of the hallmarks of a God of War game is the unexpected, the kind of the larger than life, the like what's around the next corner, the twists and turns in the story. So that's why we're not really getting into telling you who is on this planet, who is in our version of Norse mythology.
Okay.
Yeah.
After done researching a lot of Norse mythology, any story or gods or tragedy that you find much more interesting or shocking uh, before your knowledge about the whole Norse mythology?
I think a couple things. I don't accredit myself as a Norse expert, but I would say the fact that Brock and Sindri, who were the Norse Storken brothers, created the Leviathan axe, but they also created Mjolnir's hammer and Thor's hammer, and I think bringing characters like that into our world to kind of get you thinking like, what else did these guys create? And because they created Mjolnir and they're in our world, does that mean that there are other Norse gods that exist in this universe? So I think that's really interesting. I think Mimir, who is the all-knowing knowledge keeper, right? Why do Kratos and Atreus cut off his head? Why is he chained to the tree? What is our take on that? We know that Mimir had quite the run-in with Odin in Norse history, but is that the same story that is in our version? And you will learn a lot about the backstory and more about him as the game progresses as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
why Norse mythology? Why not Indian? Why not Chinese or
I love that
any
question.
mythology?
The team a long time ago kind of explored different mythologies. We looked at Egyptian, we looked at Mayan. This is no secret to people out there. But at the end of the day, Norse mythology just offered to us the richest universe, the richest set of characters and races to play with. I had mentioned that there's the Aesir, the Vanir, and the Giants that are the three races that exist in Norse mythology who are kind of gone through a heavy war, and which happened before this game starts, and kind of how Kratos and Atreus and their journey intersects with characters from each of those races is really fascinating to us. And also just the backdrop of Norse mythology, being in the wildlands of Scandinavia, with incredible mountains and forests and mythological or mythical just like a strong mythical sense of magic, and there's just something that feels very attractive to this mythology, where you could argue that a Mayan and an Egyptian mythology could probably feel a little parallel to Greek in their kind of their look and feel and the kind of gods that exist in those mythologies right now. So that to me is what I thought was most interesting about going to Norse.
Nice. From all the process behind the scene, what is the toughest decision making that you guys did to change the old God of War to this new one? I mean, like you guys offer new camera, new mythology, new gameplay, new story, new character for Kratos. From all the changes, which one is the toughest that you guys have to take for decision making?
I think the toughest decision in the beginning was the camera,
Hmm.
right? I mean, the camera is really a hallmark of God of War games.
Yeah.
You know, it's people. I mean, that kind of third-person fixed camera was something that a lot of games that followed us took inspiration from, and then a lot of games that followed us evolved from that, right? Unhinge the camera, giving you more control. I think that was probably one of the toughest decisions. And I think even giving Kratos a son, on one hand, it was an easy decision. On another hand, it was like, oh my God, now he's going to have this companion AI by him the whole entire time? We've never made a God of War game like that. How are we going to do that? So, I think those two decisions combined were really the most difficult.
Yes. What is God of War as a franchise right now? I mean, like, are we talking about something that will always follow Kratos in the future? Like, no matter what new mythology that you guys offer, it will always about Kratos. Or are we talking about something like more like Assassin's Creed from Ubisoft that you can always open to a new character, new mythology, and it doesn't matter it will be Kratos or not? What is God of War right now?
I think God of War right now is still Kratos and who he is as a character and how he is evolving. This God of War is chapter 2 of Kratos, and now he has Atreus with him. And where that allows the franchise to evolve, whether that's chapter 2.5, chapter 3, is undetermined. We have ideas in our head of where we want to go. We know right now we want to stay in the Norse universe. We want to explore this relationship between a father and a son. We know they have a very specific destination to get to, but we also know our fans out there are very savvy and smart. And we wouldn't just add Atreus to God of War if it were only a one-off, right? I mean, this is a fundamental big change, and this being kind of the beginning of chapter 2, allows Kratos to evolve, allows Atreus to come in as a new character, as a very important and vital character. And where we go from here, you'll just have to wait and see.
Let's see. In the beginning of the creative process, do you guys ever afraid that these new changes will make fans angry, or are you guys always optimistic that the fans will love it?
You know what? I myself am the community manager, so I live and die with the fans every single day, and we're human beings. I mean, we are fucking scared. Like, you wake up in cold sweats sometimes and think like, all right, so we took the blades away, we changed the camera, we gave him a son, he's not an angry god anymore, and these are all things that you have to take risk, you have to take that leap, I when I was in college, I took a leap of faith and went to Scotland and bartended for 3 months, and never imagined in my wildest dreams that I would end up going to Egypt, Israel, and making so many new friends along the way and growing as a person. When I got my first job in the gaming industry, I took a leap of faith and spent my first 3 months at EA, and I slept on a friend's couch, and I had no clue if that was going to lead to something greater. And those are just personal examples for me to say that we're taking a leap of faith here, right? But we're bringing some of the familiar with us. And the familiar is Kratos, the familiar is his intensity as a character, the familiar is the core mechanics of the combat. A lot of the original God of War team is still working on this game. They know what it takes to make a God of War game. They know what that feeling of larger than life is. They know what core God of War fans want. And I think that we're offering that a lot. So yeah, we were scared, but 4 or 5 years later, we're very, very confident that we've made the right decisions.
Nice. Is there anyone from your team already finished the God of War mode from your new series? Because I tried and it's really, really hard.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, there is. We have to play test the crap out of that, We have, we don't create something that we don't play ourselves, right? So we have some of the world's best God of War players on our team. There are guys that can do things with the combat that, you just didn't even know the game could do that. So absolutely, I'm glad you're playing on a God mode. Play it hard.
Well, I've already finished the normal one, so I tried again with the God of War mode, and
So you got to the raising of the turtle,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then you started over.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I love the experience, man. I mean, like, that is epic story. The battle with that mysterious guys, which I assume is Baldur, maybe, is quite freaking awesome. Any information about PlayStation 4 Pro enhancement? What did you guys offer on that console and not on the original one?
Yeah, so I would encourage you to read. We published a blog on it where we detailed the spec: 2160p resolution, 4K, HDR, dynamic lighting. These are kind of the hallmarks of PS Pro for us. There is a visual difference. If you really want to experience God of War in all its visual glory, then PS Pro is definitely the way to go.
Okay. Any expectation that you wish fans have when God of War released, that you think that they have to approach this game as something like how are we fans need to approach this new series?
I think God of War fans should approach the game in two different ways. I think they should approach it as if they're playing the next great God of War game that they've always known for the last 10 years, because that's what they're going to get. You've played through it. You're going to get that same incredible combat feeling, that same empowerment with Kratos, that same unexpected, larger than life. You're going to get the same large and small monsters and interesting creatures and everything that you know and love about a God of War game. But then I think if you're a God of War fan, come in with a bit of an open mind. If you've been following along, you know that the combat is not the same, the camera is not the same. You have to be more strategic. You can't just run and gun. You can't just button mash. And so I think while God of War fans should come into this game knowing that it's everything that they know and love about a God of War game that really is the hallmark of a God of War game, it's also everything that we think fans of new and never before would want to evolve the game forward. We didn't want to give any God of War fan or a non-God of War fan the same old God of War game that we've just been doing for the last 10 years, because that doesn't do anything to service the franchise in a good way.
I see. Cory Barlog already said that this game will offer about like 20 to 25 hours gameplay, and I have played about 3 hours and it action packed. What do you guys have to design to make sure that the rest of the hours isn't that monotonous or boring or too similar with the first 3 hours?
There's nothing about this game that feels similar from one moment to the next. I think the fact that we're adding exploration to this game is a massive way that's going to help you feel entertained at every beat. There's always danger lurking a few steps ahead. There's always an enemy just waiting for you. There's always a secret to discover. There's always the opportunity to go back to your boat and go explore around and find a side quest. There's always going to be something to do. Well, not always until you platinum the game, but we're not concerned at all about fans getting bored. The story is a riveting ride. It's the kind of game, the kind of story where you're not going to want to put the controller down, and really the camera not cutting away speaks to that. So I think exploration, danger around every corner, the story always feeling like it's pushing forward at a rapid pace, but a pace that you can feel emotionally invested in, is going to keep people entertained every second.
Last question.
Yeah.
Any message to your fans in Indonesia, for God of War fans?
Yeah, I think we want to tell fans all over the world, and especially in Indonesia, that whether you've played a God of War game or not, we think that this is the next great action adventure game that you need to pick up and play. It's accessible for people who've never played a God of War game. It's incredible and a great reminder of what a great God of War game is for people who have played it. We think Kratos as a character is more relatable than ever. We think Atreus is the most interesting thing added to a God of War game, that opens up Kratos as a multi-dimensional character and gives you an incredible side weapon. And we just think that the story that we're providing is something that people are going to be talking about. And if you want to be part of that conversation, you better play the game.
Thank you.
Okay.